The following evaluation is a vocal profile developed from the research tenets of human bioacoustics. The software used for this evaluation is available to the public from www.nanovoice.org at no charge, along with instructions for interpretation. All issues are expressed in terms of frequency equivalence. We want to talk today about New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, who's been accused of causing absolute traffic tie-up chaos on a bridge in New Jersey. We used a WAV file of his apology at the link you see at the lower right-hand corner in the blue box. We used a 30-second WAV file in the beginning to look at Christie's overall intention. For his profile, he apologized for the much-discussed bridge closing. The computer identified his intention as being from an emotional perspective with a desire for a useful and productive outcome. In the part of the speech, as he talked about the people who were being affected, Christie was much more concerned with the emotional aspects of the situation. Yes, Christie wanted to manage the event toward a useful outcome, but that outcome must first match his emotional commitment to a fair and balanced resolution. The nanovoice interpretation of Christie's WAV file indicates that Christie does not as yet have a plan for an emotionally satisfying outcome, but he is attempting to balance perception and action into a non-intellectual, a non-spin, non-reactionary, no excuses acceptable resolution. We then did a 501-bit real-time sample of Christie's apology. With a WAV file, we look at all of it, and with a real-time sample, we can look at little bits and pieces and sentences. So we looked at his apology to the people who were affected by the bridge closure, and that showed an intellectual ego that was involved along with an emotional need to create a productive outcome. In the overview, we didn't see the ego, but in talking about just what he needed to do about this, the ego was there, but it was an intellectual perspective. Surprisingly, no reactive responses, no excuses can be seen in this sample. As the WAV file can be used for generalities, the note or numeric graph, which you're going to see next, is used for very specific information. Christie's voice showed a need for a rational and just outcome. His ego is tightly bound with the need for justice. There's a lack of a tangible plan or direction to carry out the solution he needs. Overall, and this is just using a WAV sample, Christie is concerned with management, but not in the specific example here, as we talk about the people who were displaced and inconvenienced. He was talking about he was very upset and embarrassed by this. That's the section we used. There's a strong need to help others find satisfying solutions, but this is also an unbalanced section of the chart. The desire is to help, but as yet he doesn't have an avenue to complete such a task. It seems as though he doesn't feel he has those resources at the time. This is a numeric graph, and it shows that Christie's foundation about this issue is not solid. Ego and justice indicators are strong, but there's a shortage of foundational energy dealing with useful physical outcomes. And you see that by the G and G sharp that's been removed to the 0 octave, where the rest of his voice is in, a lot of it's in -2 horizontal octave. Strong and productive physical outcomes have been moved to that intellectual layer, meaning there's no solid plan in place at this time. The computer evaluation, page 1, points of importance, attention, and consequence. Others see you as having leadership potential, but they may resent you for the same reason. You can be fussy about your physical space. It needs to satisfy you and no one else. Sometimes you spend a lot of time and energy trying to get even the smallest detail right the first time. You have the ability to allow others to use your strength and support for their own needs. Page 2. Your highest note is associated with the expression of self-power. The issue of circulation and stamina also resides with this note. Your highest note is also associated with the expression of physical prioritizing. Personal control over what happens in your physical environment is very important to you. Your highest note is additionally associated with the expression of justice, fairness, and truth that comes through his chart many, many times. And although this wasn't meant to be any kind of wellness evaluation, his vocal prints show that joint, tendon, and connective tissue issues, along with smooth muscle contractions, reside with this note, and they may be an issue. You may be caught once in this situation, but you aren't often caught twice without a proper answer. Page 3, points of communication, complication, and complaints. You work well with others and are often put in a leadership position. It is particularly bothersome when someone uses or borrows your property without permission. You have a strong sense of justice, fairness, and truth. You know how to get things done, but don't always have the time to deal with the details. You do what you do for the benefit of all concerned, even if it stresses you personally. You wish for the best, which sometimes leads to statements of hope instead of statements of fact. The information within this vocal profile contains opinions concerning correlations between personality traits and frequencies found within the voice. The printouts are generated by a computer using fast Fourier transforms and voice spectral analysis developed by the Institute of Bioacoustic Biology. More information can be gleaned from their website, www.soundhealthoptions.com. To this vocal profile, I would like to add my own observation and opinion. As with many people who are on trial in a court of law, it is often that an attorney who has no solid evidence of any wrongdoing will attack the personality of the person on trial, and in this case, someone being accused of doing something wrong. At this point, Christie is on trial as a possible candidate as the 2016 presidential contender. He became too strong of a candidate with his take charge, get it done attitude. He also hugged President Obama when New Jersey needed much warranted reconstruction funds. His profile shows he can work with both sides and that he will work toward what is for the betterment of all concerned. I would also like to address the fact that this incident was under investigation almost immediately with Christie's complete cooperation. He withheld nothing, no subpoenas were needed to be served, he dismissed those responsible. It's my opinion from viewing the vocal profile of Christie that indeed he's being attacked because he's a strong contender for the 2016 nomination. Expect more of this kind of attack because Christie has been vindicated through sonic polygraphs.